Hi Whovians, Harry here, and Doctor Who is back with a full series, and we haven't had a full Doctor Who series since 2021 with Flux, but now we are back with regular Doctor Who, and it has been a long time coming, and I just couldn't wait for these 2 episodes to air, and I can't wait for the whole series, because these 2 episodes were really good. And this video will be going over just my thoughts on the first episode, Space Babies. Sorry it has been a while since I've posted it and I couldn't get this out sooner, but things have just been hectic with my life and it is probably going to be that way until episode 5, Dot and Bubble. So just bear with me while I get these videos out to you. But with all of that out of the way, and before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe, also leave a like and comment down below, and let's get into the video. So, before the episode starts with the title sequence, they fixed it, they finally fixed it. The logo looks a lot better, it looks higher budget, it looks like it interacts with the vortex a bit more, it just looks better than the previous logo. So, they fixed that for the series, which is really good. However, the G in Millie Gibson is still not fixed. It's still lower than the rest of her name, which is just a bit weird to me that the G is lower, especially when it's whooshed up so that the TARDIS can go through. So it's a bit weird, but at least they fixed the logo, which was the biggest issue. But moving into the actual episode, of course, spoiler warning if you haven't somehow watched Space Babies yet. But I will just go over the plot and then what I thought of it. So, the plot centres around the Doctor and Ruby, of course, landing on this spaceship that is a baby farm being run by babies, and the government of Earth shut down the baby farm. However, they weren't allowed to kill the babies. So all the adults left for the babies to just basically slowly die out, which is quite morbid. However, one person stayed behind, that being Jocelyn, to kind of just make sure that the babies survive for as long as, well, she could make them survive. And it has been revealed that the babies haven't grown old because technically they should be 6 years old. However, they're still babies. And then moving on, we see that the bogeyman is potentially being put forward as something that is terrifying the babies and also Jocelyn as well. And her and the space babies don't know what the bogeyman is, other than it just being a monster and the bogeyman. So the Doctor and Ruby go to investigate it, and then they find out that the bogeyman was actually made by the people that made the Space Babies as well, and this was just covered up from Jocelyn, so she didn't know, and then through that, the Doctor and Ruby tried to stop Jocelyn from, of course, ejecting the bogeyman and from killing him, because they know that he was created just like the Space Babies. And, of course, this Doctor wants to save all of them. And I think this is one of the few Doctor Who episodes where no one dies. I think this is the first episode. I'm just trying to think. Is this the first episode since the Doctor dances that everyone lives? Well, if it is, I didn't notice that until just now. But basically, the Doctor and Ruby saved the bogeyman, and then they, and throughout this episode, there was a refugee planet spotted, and the Doctor manages to propel the space station to that refugee planet so that they can all live and that they won't die in the space station. And then Ruby eventually joins the Doctor to have adventures throughout this series. And it's a really good episode. I think it's quite fun. If you don't expect anything really major, it's just a nice fun episode, and we definitely need that after the Whittaker era and also Tennant 2.0 era, because a lot of that was like quite dark, and of course the Whittaker era wasn't the best. But moving past that, it seems like we're moving on onwards and upwards, and I just think this was a really great episode. But of course, I want to talk about specifics now in this episode. The Doctor and Ruby just seem like best friends already. They have such a good dynamic, especially even just starting out, because the episode opens right where the church on Ruby Road left off from, and they have this small little scene where they go back in time to see dinosaurs, and Ruby steps on a butterfly, and the Doctor has to like kind of bring the butterfly back to life to save her from, because she turned into a lizard thing, but he reverts that, and then they just seem to have a good time. They're running for their lives from the bogeyman. However, then they're both making the babies happy when they see the babies in Space Babies. They are helping Jocelyn to save everyone, even the bogeyman, and they just seem like best friends already, and that is such a cool dynamic. I think it's a little bit too quick that they've already best friends after only like one episode, really, because they already seem like best friends throughout this episode. However, I do like it. It saves a little bit of character dynamic. And also, this Doctor, after basically all the previous New Who Doctors hiding their secrets from their companion, this Doctor literally says in like the first 5 minutes basically everything about himself to Ruby. It's just bam, bam, bam. And I didn't think that we would get this, because it's supposed to be put forward like this era as a soft reboot. That's why it's back to season 1, not series 14. However, I do like that this Doctor just reveals his secrets to Ruby because he trusts her, he wants to be best friends with her, and he just trusts Ruby enough for him to say to her, yeah, these are my secrets. So I think that's really nice, and also it shows that he won't be all dark and broody and moody like the previous Doctors that we have seen before him. And next, I want to talk about where this episode gets its name from. Of course, being the Space Babies. So the Space Babies were made like 6 years ago, so they're supposed to be around 6, but they feel like more mature than 6-year-olds, at least from what I saw in that episode. But they are definitely still children. But they obviously shouldn't be babies, but they are stuck in like these baby bodies. I don't know whether this is forever, or whether they're supposed to age slowly, or whether I don't know. It's not really explained in the episode. However, I do like it. The CGI on the mouths and like the way that the babies' heads like don't match up with their mouths, of course, is weird. But we're gonna get that, like, because of course they can't get babies to act like adults or even older children can, because, well, they're just there to, they don't act. They're just there. But they're not really that bad. I mean, they, cry when, like, the situation is allowed. They are happy, like, when the situation is allowed. I think it was Poppy, the captain, is really good. That baby here is just like quite good. And then there's also Eric, I think, is the main baby, and I think it's Lenny Rush actually voiced that baby, and he is going to be returning in series 1 later in this series, and him actually doing the voice of one of these space babies was the thing that convinced Russell T Davies that he should be a returning character, that he should have a character for himself rather than just being a voice of a space baby. So obviously people already impressing Russell T Davies in just the first episode. And of course the other main part of Space Babies is the bogeyman. And I think it's a really good twist, because there are 2 ways you can take the bogeyman that I thought of before this episode aired. That is, 1, that the bogeyman is actually a villain and he is trying to scare the babies, and 2, he is actually a good guy and just because of his appearance everyone is scared of him. However, it's put forward in a really good way, because the people that made the Space Babies also created a computer system for the babies to have enough stimulus that a baby should have. And through the story, the computer kind of got confused, and instead of just them telling stories of like a bogeyman, it actually created a bogeyman. And it being more confused, didn't know what a bogeyman was supposed to be made out of, and made a bogeyman out of the baby's snot. Yeah, but it was funny in the episode, like Ruby gets gunged in snot, and the Doctor laughs, and it's just a fun interaction between the two of them. But yes, the bogeyman is literally a bogey man, and the way that it was created by the people that obviously created the Space Babies, so it is as much a space baby, a child, as Space Babies, and I think it's really good. And the Doctor and Ruby tried to convey this across to obviously Jocelyn and the Space Babies, and eventually they save them, and the bogeyman kind of becomes like their dog. And throughout the episode, it was like joked that is the bogeyman like the Space Baby's dog. And in the final minutes when they save it, it kind of does become their dog. So that's kind of nice, and it's a good twist on a villain that everyone knows. So I like that. And now I want to talk about the two overarching narratives in season 1, because there are two things that we know that we will get picked up on later this series. The first one is Susan Twist. Now, Susan Twist is an actor who has appeared in 4 episodes of Doctor Who at that point. She appears in Wild Blue Yonder as Miss Merridew. She appears in The Church on Ruby Road as just Woman in the Bar. And she appears in Space Babies as one of these commanders that was on a Space Baby ship. And also she appears in The Devil's Court, and I will talk more about her role in that when I do my video on that one, which hopefully will be coming out tomorrow when you're seeing this video. So, of course, that means that she has appeared lots of times in basically consecutive order. So I wouldn't be surprised to see her appear in every episode in series 1, especially as there's only 8 episodes and she just has small little cameo roles that she doesn't need to be with any of the main cast for. So, obviously, who is Susan Twist? Why is she just different characters in every episode? Is she different characters? Is she the same character? Is she the one who waits? So much with this character that is still left unexplored, but I am glad that they are really sticking to this arc. I can't wait to see who she actually is. And the other main arc I wanted to talk about is Ruby's mother. So, throughout this episode, it snows, and it is really weird because the Doctor kind of thinks that this could be a warning, and I can get how that is, because whenever they mention Ruby's mum, it seems to snow, well, when they're not talking about Carla, Ruby's biological mum, and the Doctor thinks this is a warning. And when Ruby does eventually join the Doctor through his travels in time and space at the end of the episode, he says to Ruby that he can't take her back to the night that she was abandoned in the church on Ruby Road, that he can't take her to see her biological mum, or he can't take her to see her mum.
There is one thing that I can never do, Ruby, and that's take you to that church on Ruby Road that Christmas. Absolutely never.
And Ruby says that they are going to see her mum, but it is revealed that she is talking about Carla. Because even though I think Ruby did think that she would get a chance to see her biological mum, the Doctor is not going to allow that, and she is fine with that. Carla is the one who raised her, Carla is the one who cared for her, who taught her everything. So Carla is her mum to Ruby. And I think this is a really sweet moment, and it shows that the Doctor is learning, because it gave me very Rose Tyler vibes, especially in Father's Day when the Doctor said that, and he is warning Ruby that she can't see her mum, because then it would create just a paradox and that is definitely learnt from when Rose saved her dad in Father's Day and the Doctor advised against this, so the Doctor isn't even going to risk it this time. But it seems that Ruby still cares about her mum, and the episode ends with the Doctor scanning Ruby, and I think it just seems normal, but why is he scanning her? What does he think Ruby is? Is Ruby a companion created specifically for him, as there was a script where Rose was going to be designed specifically for the Doctor, but that was dropped in favour of Boomtown? Or is there something where Ruby is a fictional character? Because when the episode titles were revealed, the legend of Ruby Sunday had a TV set, so is Ruby a fictional character? We know that the fourth wall is getting broken in Doctor Who. We saw Mrs. Flood break the fourth wall in the church on Ruby Road. And also, he scanned Amy once when she was a ganger, so is Ruby not actually there? There's just so many questions. And when the Doctor exits the TARDIS, snow again falls. So, what is happening with that snow? And will we revisit the church on Ruby Road when Ruby was abandoned by probably her biological mother? It's just so crazy. So, overall, I just thought this was an amazing, fun episode. If you went over this with expectations high, I think you might be slightly disappointed, but I think it is probably the best Second Doctor story out of all of them. Like, better than New Earth, probably The Beast Below, better than maybe Into the Dalek. Oh, I did like Into the Dalek, though. Better than The Ghost Monument. I don't know, better than End of the World. I think I like End of the World more. But it was a really good Second Doctor episode, because it was just fun, and that is what Doctor Who really needs. Is just for it to be fun. It was a new direction, and I really enjoy it. Overall, I think I will give this episode a 7 out of 10. It was really good, but it wasn't amazing. However, that is different for the Devil's Cord, which will hopefully be up tomorrow. But again, that is just my thoughts of this episode. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of the episode Space Babies. Are you excited for this new era of Doctor Who? And if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, also subscribe, and share it out. And I will see you when I review The Devil's Cord.